Hey guys, I wanted to record a little video for Romeo and Juliet, Act 2, Scene 3. This is after the balcony scene, and we are going to get to know Friar Lawrence a little bit and see what's going on with Romeo's plans regarding marriage. If you are watching this, the code word today is flowers. So again, a code word is just showing me that you've been taking the time to watch the video. So either email me or write in private comments for your assignment flowers so that I know that you've been watching the video and taking some of that time, which I appreciate very much. And hopefully these have been somewhat helpful to you. Okay, so just to backtrack, you should have just finished the balcony scene. That was at Juliet's house. We had Romeo and Juliet kind of professing their love to each other and making plans to even get married. So in this next scene, we are going to see exactly what's going to happen with their plans to get married. So this opens with Friar Lawrence. Again, Friar Lawrence is more like a friar is like a priest. So he's somebody that's in the church, somebody that would be able to marry them. It's about sunrise. He's taking care of some of the medicine and herbs and things that he uses in his home. So we'll kind of get to know him a little bit, and then we'll see what Romeo has to say. So this is a friar, and there is going to be more of a rhyme when he speaks. And we'll kind of see what that means about his character as well, and why Shakespeare decided to do that. So it says, enter Friar Lawrence alone with a basket. The gray-eyed morn smiles in the frowning night, checkering the eastern clouds with streaks of light, and fleckered darkness like a drunkard reels from forth a day's path and Titan's burning wheels. Now o'er the sun advances burning eye, the day to cheer and night's dank dew to dry. So basically he's saying this is around sunrise. So the gray morning is kind of bright, and we are seeing that it's sunrise and that the light is kind of shining through the darkness of the evening. So then he goes, the next day to cheer and night's dank dew to dry, I must upfill the osier cage of ours, with baleful weeds and precious juice flowers, the earth that nature's mother is her tomb. What her burying grave, that is her womb. And from her womb children of divers kind, we suckling on our nature bosom find, many for many virtues excellent, none but for some, and yet all different. Oh, mickle is a powerful grace that lies, and plants, herbs, stones, and their true qualities. For not so vile that on the earth doth live, but to the earth some special good doth give. Nor aught so good but strain from that fair use, revolts from true birth, stumbling on abuse. Virtue itself turns vice, being misapplied, and vice sometimes by actions dignified. So here he's starting to fill his basket up with weeds and precious juice flowers. And then he starts being very thankful for the earth and like all it gives him, which is these different herbs and the flowers and kind of all the different beauties and things that we can use. And he says that, with that, we need to kind of pay attention, not all so good, but strain for fair youth. So again, even though this is things that are medicine or made, you still need to be careful with it. So that it's not abused and it's kind of used correctly. So if you can see, he has a real respect for nature and medicine, and obviously God, seeing as though he is a friar. So as he's saying this and kind of having his good morning chat to himself, we see Romeo. And he continues talking. Within the infant rind of this weak flower, poison hath residence and medicine power. For this, being smelt, with that part cheers each part, being tasted, stays all sense with the heart. Two such opposed kings encamp them still, and man as well as herbs, grace and rude will. And where the worser is predominant, full soon the canker, death eats up that plant. So here he's talking about how a flower can actually have so much medicine, and different like herbs and things can even like cause death. It's kind of just like people. There's two things. We have like good and evil, and the same thing with herbs. They can have good and evil to them. And it kind of depends on how you use it, whether or not it's destructive or not. And Romeo comes in and he says, good morning, father. And Friar Lawrence goes, Benedici, what early tongue so sweet salueth me? Young son, it argues a distempered head, so soon to bid good morrow to thy bed. Care keeps his watch in every old man's eyes, and where care lodges, sleep will never lie. But where unbruised youth with unstuffed brain doth couch his limbs, their golden sleep doth reign. Therefore thy earliest doth me assure, thou art uproused with some distemperature. Or if thou so, then here I hit it right. Our Romeo hath not been to bed tonight. So he's saying good morning. And then He wonders why it's sunrise, why he's up. So he says, so soon to bid good tomorrow to thy bed can keep his watch in every old man's eyes. So he's wondering why he's up so early. Older men are up because they have cares that he should be young and carefree, youth with unstuffed reins. So then he says, "What thou art aroused to some distemperature? Are you ill? Is something bothering you, or have you not been to bed tonight?" So notice that he kind of has a close enough relationship to ask him what's going on. And so then Romeo says, that last is true. The truth, the sweeter rest is mine. So he's saying it is true. I have not been to bed. So then he says, God, pardon sin. Was thou with Rosalind? So he's basically saying, did you sin? Were you with Rosalind? And he said, with Rosalind, my ghostly father, no. I forgot that name, and that name's Woe. So obviously he knows enough about Romeo to know that he was lovesick about Rosalind. And he's wondering if that's who he was with, but Romeo is acting like that was something of the total past and that he was not there. However, let me remind you that before that day, yesterday, he was in love with Rosalind. Also, if you notice, the friar is talking in rhyme and very eloquent speeches. Notice that he is more of a character that's a little bit more mature, that is supposed to be better spoken with words. So we can see that that's kind of the way that he communicates as well. So let's see though why Romeo is at Friar Lawrence. So he says, that's my good son, but where hast thou been then? And he says, I tell thee ere thou ask it me again. I've been feasting with my enemy, where on a sudden one hath wounded me. That's by my wounded both thy remedies within thy help and holy physics lie. I bear no hatred, blessed man, for lo, my intercession likewise steads my foe. So he says, I've been feasting with my enemy, meaning the Montague, him being a Montague, was at the Capulets, and where had a sudden one hath wounded me. So he's basically saying that Juliet wounded him, or like he is in love with one of them, but he's not being very straightforward with Friar Lawrence yet. And she says, that's by me wounded, being I also am in love with her, and she's affected by me. And so he's saying our remedies, we can be helped within thy help. So he's saying we both need your help. Now, if you can kind of assume, do they need the help from the friar for? Marriage, of course. So again, he says, I bear no hatred, blessed man. My intercession likewise steads my foe. So he's trying to say this will help my enemies even. So Friar says, be plain, good son, and homely in thy drift. Riddling confession finds, but riddling shrift. So Romeo is not being very straightforward of what he's saying, though. So the friar is saying, hey, like, just be completely like honest and upfront with what's going on. And so he says, then plainly know my heart's dear love is set on the fair daughter of rich Capulet. So I'm in love with the Capulet's daughter. As mine on hers, so hers is set on mine. She is also in love with me. And all combined save, which thou must combine, by holy marriage. And so he's saying they both want to be together in holy marriage. When and where and how we met, we wooed, and made exchange of vow. I'll tell thee as we pass, but this I pray, that thou consent to marry us today. So he's saying that they're both in love and that they need each other, and they have promised that they want to say their marriage vows, and they're asking if Friar Lawrence can help them with that. And so let's see what Friar Lawrence is going to say about this. So he says, Holy St. Francis, what a change is here. Is Rosalind, thou dost love so dear, so soon forsaken? So he's still kind of shocked. I mean, think about it. Romeo was just like lovesick and all of a sudden about Rosalind just a few days ago. So it shows that they have a close relationship, and that, oh my gosh, you were in love with someone and now we want to get married to someone new. Young men's loves then lie, not truly in their hearts, but in their eyes. So are you just making this change because you think that Juliet's even prettier? And so, Jesu, Maria, what a deal of brine has washed by thy sallow cheeks for Rosaline. How much sweet water thrown away in waste, to season love, that of doth those taste. The sun yet thy sighs from heaven clears, the old groans ring yet in my ancient ears. So he's saying, I remember your cheeks were like all wet because you were crying and upset and seeking my help about Rosalind. Like, what's going on? I mean, think about it. It is kind of shocking. And so he says, lo, here upon thy cheek, the stain doth sit of an old tear that is not washed off yet. If ever thou wast thyself, and those woes thine, thou and these woes were all for Rosaline. So all of your problems recently were all about Rosalind. And I still feel like I see a tear on your cheek. This is just so recent. And art thou changed? Pronounce the sentence then. Women may fall when there's no strength in men. So he's basically saying that men can sometimes be very inconsistent and weak with falling in love, is what he's saying. And he said, thou's chiz me off for loving Rosaline. So are you like, don't worry about Rosalind, like, don't give me a bad name for that. And he said, for doting, not for loving, pupil mine. And he's saying, you didn't really love Rosalind. And he said, and bass me bury love. And said, not in a grave, to lay one, another, one to have. He says, I pray thee chide me not. Here I love now. So he's saying, well, I am in love now. Maybe I wasn't before, but I am now. Doth grace for grace and love for love allow? That other did not so. So he's saying, and she loves me back. Rosalind didn't love me back, but Juliet does. And so he says, oh, she knew well. Thy love did not read by rote that could not spell. So he's basically saying your love recites with words. Like you want to be in love, but do you really know what it means? You can just kind of say what you should say in love, but do you really understand it? By come, young waverer, come go with me. On one respect I'll thy assist be. For this alliance may be so happy prove to turn your household's ransored to pure love. So he's saying, well, I am going to assist you because both of your households are enemies. And by your agreement and vow together, this could actually bring peace between these two families, which would be a great thing because there's been conflict. I mean, recent conflict and conflict years and years and years. I mean, the prince had to get involved. So marrying them, he thinks, would actually do the town and people a service. So Romeo says, oh, let us hence. I stand on sudden haste. And he says, wisely and slow, they stumble and run fast. So kind of making a play on words about how Romeo is kind of jumping into marriage kind of quickly. But as we finish this scene, it seems like Friar Lawrence is going to help Romeo marry Juliet. So then we'll see kind of what happens of their plans. This has all happened quite quickly. And again, Juliet's family probably would not approve of this. So kind of how are they going to go about arranging a marriage? All right, guys. So that was Act 2, Scene 3 with Friar Lawrence. Hopefully that helped you out a little bit. Things are going to start moving quite quickly. So hang in there. All right. Miss you all. Bye-bye.